First time I've been on this year. Doing some other things. Got some exciting things going on with the family, so my times are different. I don't know how often my times are going to be like this. Um, but I also moved the camera function a little bit so that way I could try to center everything up. When we left off, if anybody's new to the channel, this is the AMT. This is the Mobius ramp truck mixed together with this is the Mobius 1967 Ford pickup ramp truck that I'm cross building with the with their 66 truck. Let me clean this up for a little bit. With their Mobius 66 Ford pickup truck. When we last left off, you guys, if you're new to the channel, just to get you caught up, we made sure to mount. We had to make sure all the mounting points were the same from the 66 cab to the 67 frame. All that worked up because the frame is longer on the 67 because it's meant for this ramp truck. We built the ramp bed already. I did my own little forte on it. If you guys are new and haven't followed, I added a lot of my own plastic. I just started, John. Then the bed wasn't even. When you looked at the bed from the side angle, it dipped down, so we made a new bracket back there to level it out. We got the custom wheels and tires made and mounted for the ride height that we want on this truck. And the last time we were here, we hinged the hood. So this is where we left off. This is how we left it last time. I've still been working on other projects, but man, this has been a real challenge. I probably mentioned that on the last video. It's kind of been a real challenge to build this online only, because I get ideas, and if you guys have known me over the years, the way I build and everything, yeah, I think that sets a lot better like that. All right. So this is, maybe it is the other way. Huh. Getting these tires and everything to mount up just right based on the way I did it all. Alright. So that's that. And I think when we left off, we was discussing on putting in a motor, and I shared a few motors that I built that I just hadn't used yet. Here's a late model Coyote that I'd done wired up and plumbed up and everything. And then we also have 351 Cleveland that we wired and detailed up for projects that have now been sold off, but I kept the motors. But what I was thinking, I was thinking we'd build the motor that came with the ramp truck, and then we'll just detail it up. Because it is a V8, and we can do a ProTech carburetor. I have some resin valve covers, and we can just update this. That way, I was thinking that way we know all the exhaust and everything will fit and work with this truck. So I'm gonna move this truck itself. I'm gonna move my drink. Move the truck itself off to the side, and then let's see what we need. Because I know the 66 truck is a straight 6. I want to use that for something. Alright, so let's look through. We got all kinds of pieces here. This is still for the ramp truck. This is the drive shaft for the ramp truck. Ramp truck. We might need that. I got lots and lots of pieces here, guys. Here's this. I'm gonna clean up some of this stuff while we're going through the parts and pieces. John, I have a resin one, but it's way too big. Some of the guys that are producing 3D printed and resin printed stuff, I'd hate to say this out loud because I don't want to start no crap with some of our close friends that do the 3D printing and stuff. But some stuff, they're printing on files without having a vehicle to put them in. And some of the stuff is too big. Like I got a few resin motors from a good, from a I would call him a good friend, not close because we only talk online, but to a good friend. And the motors he sent, once I checked them out and looked them over, they're little big. Like this right here is supposed to be a resin Coyote motor too. And I'll show you here in a minute. It's supposed to be a resin Coyote motor too. And this is a kit motor that I resin copied. I took it out of the Revell kit and I made a mold and copied of it. And here's a 3D printed one of the same motor. And you could see, don't look at the manifolds different, but if you look, you can see how much wider it is. And a little bit longer. And if, just to show Papa and Dad, Dad versus son. If this is the regular truck here, and we put the kit motor in it, there's some room I have to do. There's some room, I have to do some modification to put it in there. But you see how much kind of room it's already lacking. Then if we put this in here, we put the 3D printed one in here, look how much further it is up here on the radiator. So it is an option. I hadn't gone that route yet, but it is an option. What I was going to do is I think I want to build the stock motor for this, and then we'll see how well we can get it detailed up, and then we'll go from there. Right now I'm trying to get some parts cleaned up. I just got, between the two kits, between the 66 and the 67, there's a hellacious amount of parts, so I'm going to try to do some cleanup. So it's right here to be some motor parts. Guys, I'm not the best when it comes to being organized for a video. We really are working off the fly here. So we probably won't use that. Probably won't use this. And get rid of some stuff that I know we won't use for this kit. So that way we can narrow down our parts. So there's that. Probably won't use anything at all in that bag. Okay. Get rid of this, get rid of that. Let's hold on to that. Probably won't use anything in these two bags. Well, there's a transfer case. We might not use anything out of that. Here's the cab. Alright, here's motor transmission, wheels and tires. There's a manifold. Hood I know we won't use. Here's the block, motor, what this is. Looks like it could be a water pump. Alright, for the fact of the matter is right now, this is stuff we probably won't even ever use. So let's just move this totally out of the way. Okay, that stuff right there we probably will never ever use. Alright, here's this stuff. Alright, now we'll hold on to that. There's that. Alright, motor tree, valve covers, manifold. Okay, there's manifold. Alright, so I don't know what this is. Probably won't use that. Alright. Alright, let's start off with this stuff. This stuff I know. Alright. So, you got an automatic transmission. Then you got a stick here. You can tell the difference because here's all your components for your shift modular, your shift pan. And this right here is all your linkage for your stick. So here got like a top loader thing. So first of all, let's move that. We'll go with the big heavy truck. We'll go with the stick shift. Alright. So we got this. Then again, we're also going to have to check and make sure that what we're building fits in the switch of the cab. Because when we use the 66 cab instead of the 67, there's a different interior tub and everything that we use different. Let's get our glue out. Like you guys know me, I don't like to use that. We're going to use this other glue brush. I like to use the horsehair style instead of the plastic bristles. Guys, tell me, what do you think about the new position of the camera for those of you guys that have followed older videos? I moved it a little over to the right so that way I could kind of have building room and the camera's kind of more centered to the desk. Alright. Looks like this goes right there. Hey, Pack. Thanks for joining us today, bud. You think it looks better, Curb? Alright. So there's that. Fan belt fan. Okay. So now let's go on to, let's build the block. So in order to build the block, move the glue all the way for a minute. In order to in order to build the block, let's get both block halves. Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't scary. That was a valve movement. Hey, I make beautiful models. I don't make beautiful faces, buddy. So, there's all that. And if you guys are new to the channel, don't watch as often as Dad versus Son does. we got a good rapport. Me and Dad versus Son actually work together. Um, but I like to pick everything off the parts tree and I clean it all up. And then I clean it all up, then I paint it and I'll detail it as a full unit instead of piece by piece. Um, Today I'm using Tamiya clippers. I'm using Tamiya glues. Um, we're working on a Mobius truck. Okay, so what I'm gonna do first, and then my sanding sticks and stuff to come from UMP. Ultimate, all really like these. They're a UK company. They go online. It's ump.com. Of course, I updated some stuff because they come with the foam and a plastic backing. I've used them for years. I got a bunch of brand new stuff that I just haven't opened yet from them. But I do use them a lot. I'll give you my honest opinion. They don't pay me for none of this. And when I use a product and I tell you guys about that product, it's because I've used it and I enjoy it. And I know it works for me. Yeah, Paul and them do a great service, bud. Worth the wait, worth the money. Some people will be like, well, I can get it cheaper from China or what have you, but I like dealing with Paul. Follow the IMS stuff, guys. Those guys do too. So yeah, been a long time fan of theirs. And then following Gilbert, Red Dragon Model Works, he's the one that turned me into buying all the Steinolrez stuff packed. And come to find out, the UMP primers are the same. Badger did a line of Steinolrez that they sell direct, and then they do a line for the UMP. So if you ever find a color that Badger doesn't have or that UMP doesn't have, they're the same primer, so you could use both resources to get the primers. What I don't like about this, if you guys never had Mobius kit, the actual headers are hollow. The exhaust manifolds. This is the back side, and I guess once you put it on the head, you wouldn't see it anyway. Must be for this side. They got their own joints. You wouldn't see it anyway, but it's still. Is it this side? Something's not adding up here. Anyway, you can't see. You wouldn't be able to see it, but that's strange that it's like that. Yeah, there it goes. It's like that. It's just weird. I've never seen a company do that before. Some of your plastic burrs are little. Trying to do all this online is a real booger because I have ideas, but I've been pulling out some other stuff to work on. I'm still working on the 350Z that Dad versus Son convinced me to open the rear hatch. Got some 3D parts ordered and coming for it. We're going to get some new visors for it. Some rear, what they call shakers. Going to be some new shakers for the rear coming. Some side window vents. A rear mounted turbo. So we're going to see how that works. I don't know if I really want to cut the back bumper open because I cut the hatch open. But today we're going to focus on this truck. I want to get this power plant together. Um, one reason why my times and everything have changed, in case you guys didn't notice, my oldest son got his first job, and it's a few miles away from the house. So instead of going there and coming back, Mr. Parker, I can't pro street this truck. Now that Alpha models, Pat, ain't that all resin? That's completely resin, right? Resin and photo etch. He got a job. He's getting a restaurant ready in the morning. So he goes in there and he makes sure what they call crumb catchers are all cleaned up, and we're between the seats and stuff. He's a lobby prep. Now on that, one thing I wanted to note, that Alpha models, I believe they have an Audi RS wagon I always wanted to build, Pat. And I just, man, they're not cheap kits. Um, a friend of mine had bought um the BMW, and one thing about the company, he'd bought the BMW, and the body was trash when he got it um from the post office, and at a hundred and some dollars a kit, um they went ahead and replaced it for him. That's stand up to me. I mean, because a lot of companies, if it was on the shipper and not on the manufacturer, usually you don't get that kind of service from an aftermarket company. So that was cool. Um, they do both wagons. I missed that comment. So they have the brand. Well, I shouldn't say the brand new, but they have the newer R6 too. Damn. Um, I own a Kia Optima, and John, the dad versus son. Yeah, thanks, Mr. Parker. Um, and dad versus son, he has a Hyundai Sonata, and if you do the research, the developers, the body developers at Audi produce both cars. They designed the body designers. Now they're not manufactured by Audi; they were designed by Audi. The head guy at Hyundai Kia Corporation in 2010 did not think that the Hyundai Sonata and the Kia Optima were selling to the enthusiast crowd. And so they hired the developers over at Audi to help build the new Kia Optima and Hyundai Sonatas in 2011. And since then, they've been producing or doing the body designs just for the Kia and just for the Hyundai, just for the Sonata and the Optima. They have a whole different outside source for the Stinger. The Credenza is the cousin to the Kia, which some countries, they're the K9s, K900. What me and John have, they would be considered the K5 series. Um, I know when you get outside the states, they're different names for what we have, but that's the backstory on those. Didn't get enough glue on that one. Uh, do you have content on your alpha builds? Because I'm not sure if I follow you or not, bud. Here's one thing I want to do. I don't like this manifold. If you look at this manifold, it's very shallow. And I'm going to go into the resin box and I'm going to get my own manifold out. Then I'm guessing with this being a single exhaust, I should have a Y pipe somewhere, but I didn't see it yet. Yeah, gas is getting expensive here, buddy, too. I know over there you guys buy it by the half gallon or the liter, I should say. In the United States, we buy it by the gallon. The worst yet was I took my family on vacation and we went to the Cayman Islands. And the Cayman Islands, they have their own money, but they also have. Um, I might need that part I said I didn't need. Um, they have their own currency over there, and it was 24.95 a gallon when we went over there. Even though it's a small island, that gas is woof. I think. Yeah, I think right now we're paying 2.90 a gallon in the middle part of the country. I found it. Yeah, they got this water pump. It is a two-piece water pump. That's crazy. So I gotta make sure you get all the flash off. That's one thing. Some people with this kit, if you had, or to any of the new viewers, um, the kit had some warpage. I found more problems with the flash. I mean, if you're paying $45 for a new release plastic kit, some of the flash is very questionable. So you gotta look. It has. So it's got. Yeah, okay, I see. There's no real indicators. A lot of builders are taking care. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. There's some mold injection pins here, and we have some builders that have been saying that theirs are excessive. Um, but just a little cleanup like that really helps. Gets that stuff off. Get that right there. I think I need to remove this. Yeah, I definitely bet that. All right, back to this. I don't like the way that manifold is. So let's go to my resin parts. Not that box. All right. Now in this box here, I created, here's my old master. I'd created this one, and then here's the resin copy of it. So let's this right here makes it a high-rise manifold. So sometimes you got to, when you're dealing with stuff like this, when you're adding your own manifold, you got to look at some of the gaps and see where the gaps are. So we're going to have to do some cleanup work to those gaps. And I get all this to fit first. And I'll get all the gaps and everything to fit first prior to drilling. For me, I'll do all this first before I get to drilling holes for the radiator and radiator hoses and distributor and all that. So first off, I'm going to take this glue off all the way and get it just completely out of the way. Get out my sanding sticks. This right here is 80 grit that I put on a sponge because resin will fill up your UMP sanders pretty quick. So right here, I'm just want to knock this down. Resin is a chemical. If you guys don't know, if you've never used resin, it's a chemical compound. So it's kind of very smooth, and if you don't scuff it up, it tends to get a weak bond. You have to use super glue or 5-minute epoxy on resin. Well, I should say the other glues I've used, the Tamiya stuff like this, it's more of a welding thing where it melts both sides of the plastic and creates your bond. That won't work on resin. Pack, with you working on the Alpha models, Ferrari, is there special glue that you use for your resin bonds? Be a nice little informational plug there, because he's in the UK. I don't know if he gets my super glue per choice is it's actually BSI, Bob Smith Industries, but it's also sold to other online companies that all they do is put their label on it. This comes straight from Bob during the pandemic, but prior to COVID, I was buying my glue online from Freightline. They seem to be the cheapest through eBay back when I was buying this. But I also used the Bob Smith activator. So what I'm going to do is glue this center. I'm going to center glue this, because I know that's the high-rise manifold I want. Wish I had 2 of these motors. That way I could build a complete stock one and then be able to show you guys the difference. Hey, what's up, Jay? I seen a few videos this week where some of the YouTube community are doing a tribute build to Fred Henry. Fred Henry is a longtime supporter of me as well, and been around a long time. Likes his hot rod stuff, his pro street stuff. So first of all, I'll get that in place like that. Then I'll get out my plastic stock. Then whenever I cut up plastic, my plastic stock, my leftover stuff, yeah, especially during the pandemic, it was really hit and miss here in the U.S. too, bud. I've had their odorless. I didn't think I got the secured bond. I think, if I want to say it right, I didn't think I got the bond that I wanted to out of it. But I noticed that if you use the Bob Smith activator with their glue, I don't get much fogging anyway. So that worked. That was pretty good for me. Alright. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just taking a little piece of plastic and I'm going to put in here, and then we'll sand all that smooth and get the fitment and placement we want. filling that gap. I got a message a couple weeks ago. Don't know if you guys that have a YouTube channel have ever ran into this, but the author of the message, I don't know if he's trying to rile me up or truly dislikes me, but he had made a comment that I act like I'm the best that's ever been, and I just like to show what I know and talk about the experiences that I've had in the hobby, if that means well enough. So sometimes we can't please everyone, and sometimes you'll notice if you're a builder and even a viewer, somebody that makes your own content and not just a viewer and follower. Sometimes it's hard to please everybody, and we all have our own different experiences through the thing. Yeah, troll time. um, we all have our own experiences. No matter what it be, this hobby, what you do at work or whatnot. Um, so me, I'm pretty much a class clown, even in real life. So when I get comments and stuff like that, it doesn't ruffle me. It doesn't get under my skin. Sometimes I'll play with them and and not really have an argument, but you know what I mean, play along with the back and forth, just if I'm bored, and if not, just I just don't even give them the attention that they're seeking. But I've known some people. Well, I don't known them, but I've read some places that sometimes people get um people get so bothered by it that they stop doing what they enjoy to do because of what someone else's comment was, and that's not fair to you yourself. um, we should always be able to enjoy um, what we do, whether it be our job, your hobby. Like, this is just a hobby for me, it's not a job. I don't need to do this. I don't have to do this. This is something that I want to do, and sometimes people are so unhappy with what their day to day in life is, they want to make someone else miserable. And the beauty about this hobby, there's contests that you could go to, and you don't have to go to win. I would say you don't have to go to compete, but when you go to the show, a lot of us are competing at the shows. Um, but you don't have to be the best. Go for the fellowship. Go for the interaction, and then go for the teachings. There's so much stuff I've learned over the years, just by opening my eyes instead of being conceited or overconfident. Know to yourself that there's always room for growth. Um, that there's always room for growth. John, not yet. I haven't, not yet. Um, there's one of my good friends that lives a couple miles away from me. Um, we share colors back and forth. So I don't know what he's picked up over the last few months that I've been working on my house, John. Um, so we'll make plans, and I'll go over there and dig through his colors and see what colors he has. I just bought a real pretty blue. Um, I just bought a real pretty blue for a lowrider build that I'm building for a guy on Facebook. I got a couple builds for him. Yeah, I mean, there's some people online that that this is their business. They do this for a living, and it's kind of hard for them to open up and share with us because they feel like their livelihood could be, I don't want to say jeopardized, but you know what I'm trying to say. And there's other people here that they want to charge for their knowledge. Don't get me wrong. There's a couple great people in the hobby. I'm not going to say their name right off, but instead of just sharing the enjoyment of the hobby, um, you have to pay to his website to see it. And I mean a full-blown website, not like a Patreon monthly subscription or something like that. It's great guy personally, but if I want to share the hobby with you guys, I want to share the hobby with you guys. You know, if you understand what I'm saying, I don't want to say, okay, I could teach you this, that, and the other, but it's going to cost you $10.99 a month. All right. So if we got that, we got this. Now, see how I filled in that little gaps right there? There's still a little bit here. We'll put some filler in there and clean that up. And then, so as of now, that bed is loose. So as of right now, let's put this in place and see where we're actually at space-wise. Because I remember we used a floor pan out of the 66. So we're going to make sure, take the tab off. We're going to make sure all that still lines up with the floorboard. Yeah, just a hobby for me too, man. I've never been into smoking. Never been into dope and stuff like that. This has always been my addiction. I'm only better at it than some others because this was my passion. So I paid more attention to this over the years and perfected what I enjoy doing. Well, I shouldn't say perfected, but I got accustomed. That's a good word. I got accustomed to doing the builds the way I want to do and use the tools and stuff. So that looks like a pretty good fit. It gives me room for a carburetor. If you look at it, it'll give me room for a carburetor. Because the hood will shut clear up here. So it'll give me room for a carburetor. By using this regular block, my steering... Yeah, I'll be here, Pat. So we got this. So we got some good room. Now let's and remember we was going to use this flat ugly manifold with no well, it's got detail, but I mean it's not like extravagant. So we went with that high rise. Now let's get some valve covers. Let's pick out a few valve covers, see what we can do. We got some Dart valve covers. Pick those out. Now these are Chevrolet 572s. Can't use those. We got some Merdons. Let's see what those, and then we had the Ford ones. Let's look at these. Let's see what we can do with these. See what fits best with these. These right here are Milden. Yeah, the Milden style. And then we have these styles right here. Oh, them fit real good. Yeah, I like the way those fit already. The original wheels for the ramp truck, John, they're called Arcos. And they're diesel truck wheels. You got the front wheels here, and here's the back wheels because there'd be dualies. And we went with the Pro Street, so these right here, it'd be on like that for the back, and these would be the front. And the Millendon. Millendons look cool too, though. You know what? I'm going to go with these. So let's rough up the resin. Got some air bubbles in them. I didn't do a very good job casting these. There's a lot of casters on eBay. You guys can find a lot of this stuff. Some of the stuff I have is recasted off of Rick Swartz that used to do Scale Dreams. He's no longer in business, so I liked his product that he offered. So once he ran out of business, we are still friends. Yeah, see, I don't know yet if I wanted to go so shiny, John, or if I wanted to do a weathered Survivor. I have yet to do a weathered shiny yet, though. And that seems to be in style right now, where people are just clear coating the patina on real cars. They're updating everything but the body, which looks good. Where'd the super glue go? Where'd the glue go? A little too much glue, you dummy. Yeah, you want it secure, but you don't want to overdo it. Yeah, I'm not. I did say that. You're right. You're right. Mr. Parker, Mr. Parker, I deleted the dualies, and we're going to go, instead of saying Pro Street, we're going to go Super Singles. Oh, that's what's great about you guys in the community. You guys watch what I do, man. You guys are on me. Yeah, that's a good catch. No, Mr. Watts, Gary is on it. All right. So what once was bland now has some flavor. Let's get this glued in. That transmission does not want to stay well put. All right. So let's go back and check our fitment. Now we got that on. Let's see. I'm going to have to super glue that on. It's not wanting to stay for nothing. It's what happens sometimes when there's a lot of weight and pressure on that one joint. Sometimes you have to use the super glue. Activate it. All right. So now we beefed all that up. Off with the cab again. Yeah, see, that's going to make a good looking power plant in there, guys. See if you guys can't see that. Yeah, that beefed it up a lot. Oh, yeah. Now we'll pull out this little ProTech, just to give you guys PTMC 67. If you guys can't see that, that's a ProTech carburetor. It's the Barry Grant Demon carburetor. We're going to put that on here. Then I use a lot of ProTech. Their braided wire and everything is also really good to use. Then we'll put that. You can see the difference in my resin and their resin. Theirs is more of a tan, mine's more of a yellow. So what I want to do here is, I don't want to glue this on. So what I do is I have, I should say I had, motor detailing. I have what's called, I made this. This right here's a little cheat sheet thing. And I get this out, get my brass stock out. And then I size up the hole I need. need a number 3. Yep. Get that out. Go over here to my drills. Pull out my number 3. All right, be careful on your trip. And if we don't get back in time, this will go live. I mean, not live, but it will be posted up at some point. There's that. I'm looking at my other thing. They were from a die-cast. They're from a Masteo die-cast, and they were on a 64 Starliner. Is all I really remember of it. Because I want to detail the carburetor up, what I'm going to do first, I'm going to drill through the center of it. Drill through the center of it. Where'd my brass pipe go? I'm going to take my brass rod, push my brass rod in there. Then we're going to center, well, I should say, let's center up the carburetor first. And I'll do the brass rod right through there. And because I want to detail the carburetor up, I went ahead and did a brass rod through it. And that right there will let us mock everything up, get everything centered up and mocked up. Like that. And then, what I do now is, grab me a pair of dikes, and I'm going to snip it off just a little bit high. Like right there. Alright. Now, we can have the carburetor set so we can get a height test. Not liking that. I'm just going to open up the motor mount post just a little bit, fellas. Get us a better, put some little slack on it. There it goes. Now, to me, that's fitting a lot better. That's why I'll always preach to you guys, test, fit, test, fit, test, fit. Alright. Okay, so that's the hood closed. That's the hood closed. We don't have no contact. And that'll be the hood open. To me, I like that. Don't know if you guys can't see that right off the get-go. Alright, so what we did, we used a regular transmission. We used a regular block, the regular exhaust manifolds. And then we used my resin copy valve covers, my resin copied intake manifold, but then use a ProTech resin Barry Grant Demon carburetor. See that? Alright, so we did that. Now, we've got to drill the holes for the distributor and for the radiator hose. And what I like to do on that is, okay, got that radiator hose. Alright. Got my drill out. Get that. Aluminum tubing. Where's my aluminum tubing? Alright. So now we're going to go distributor in the middle and radiator to the right. So, you know what? I'm going to use this same one here to do plug wires. So now let's drill all the plug wire holes. I got the plug holes drilled. And get the plug holes drilled. Now let's do that off to the right. And the radiator hose to the right. See, how did they have this? Yeah, radiator to the right. Distributor in the center. Oh yeah, that escort. Give me a minute. I'll pull it out and give you an update on it. Well, that didn't work. I have to relocate the radiator hose. Are you talking about the project I got going on, or the light blue one I did? Because I've had a couple. I did the 77. I did the 77 style. Then I got the 84 style. The 8084. Okay, yeah, the red one. Let's see. I've been working on the headlight. I didn't have headlight glass for it. So what I've been doing is I've been smoothing it. I've been trying to get it smooth. I still got a little bit more body work to do, and then I got to reopen the grill. But I pretty much got it hinged. Uh-oh. Yeah, I got it hinged now. Now I just got to do the cleanup. And I was talking to Punch and thinking maybe do a turbo and then a headlight. Don't know yet on what we're going to do yet, but I'm finishing up. Still got some more of the body work to do. Then I'll be on it. Like I said, I've been working on it a little bit here and there. But I bought it and then didn't realize I didn't have the glass for it. So that came into a whole new series there, and that's why I decided to go with the wide body. So right here going to be the distributor in here. So we'll put the distributor right in there. I use aluminum tubing, and then I do all my own wires. So that's why you guys see that. Now I got to draw my pin line. Then right here. Yeah, on the body glass, it was the headlights that was the issue. Another thing I picked up that I wanted to talk about, save your plastics. Because I save stuff like this and mouthwash bottles. Because see, it's already got a clear curve. You guys can always cut that up and use that for lights as well. I just didn't have this on hand at first. If you ever try to bend the acetate plastic, like, yeah, my mom and dad bought a brand new 86 GT. Yeah, an 86 GT. Man, it was an awesome car. And it got totaled, but yeah, they had drove that thing forever. Oh yeah, the vacuum formers. Now, it gets hot, so you can't use a plastic part. You have to have a wood or metal part, right? If I remember correct. Get that there, and then what I'll do is, yeah. See, that's what I thought. That's that for that. Then we'll get a line out for the braided hose. Pack Track, you're Adam. Now here will be the braided hose. Yeah, okay, yeah. I just got the Facebook message popped up. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Hell, I thought you was brand new, kid. You're well aware of what my passions are. So I got that. We'll have that together. Uh then I just like to size things up. And of course it's Ford. Um Guys, we were talking on Facebook earlier. Rusty had made a comment about using that spool of wire that you guys can get off eBay. It's this wire right here to do plug wires. And then it comes in all different colors. I broke mine all down. Um, I broke mine all down into smaller spools. And I broke mine all down to smaller spools. So that way I could pick which color I wanted instead of keeping on that whole spool. But my original, man, I loved these. I don't know where my blue one went. It must have just fell. Oh, here it is. These are what I originally used in the beginning. These were from Radio Shack. They had them in the 3 colors. They were the white, blue, and red. So if you guys can't see the original ones. And yeah, they were called Kennar wire. 30 gauge. What you get, the 30 gauge that you get off of eBay, it's a little bigger. It's just a little bit bigger. So be aware of that when they say you needed, when we're using the 30 gauge. I think all your model car garage and stuff are true 30 gauge. But I've had this stuff since the 80s. Sadly, if you live in the US, you know Radio Shack is out of business here. They have been for some time. But I bought these way back when. I went to the hobby shop as a young man, and the wire to do the distributor, when I was there to do that, just enough wire. And I'm buying kits when I say young man, I was buying my kits like at $5 a piece for any of your AMT, Revell, and Monogram. Back in the 80s and early 90s, they were $5. And then they started climbing up in the late 90s, really bad in the early 2000s. And now again, they're starting to climb up again. Um, Need a photo one more time. Yeah. Yeah, they 2468. Okay, yeah, that's right. And what I do is I just roll my wire like this. I put them in my distributor that I make like that. Put it there like that, and then there's my wires. And then I just pre-detail everything just to see what I want and where I want to go with it. Um, I'll pull that back out. Get me some glue on the bottom of these before I do any cutting. And then get them down in there. Then I'll do that. And none of this stuff here is glued in. I'm just gluing in the wires. So that way I have some security on those. Because once you cut them, they'll become individual wires. They're not wanting to stay mainframed in there. So I'm going to do a little. get that there like that, and then we'll go ahead and hit that. Yeah, I've been really getting into that 350Z. I went through, if you guys hadn't noticed, I went through and did an update on the Scaled World page on the parts that all came in for the Supra. I hate to say this, but some of the parts are very intimidating, and I haven't touched the Supra at all. I did cut up one of the hoods from the Supra over the week. I cut up one of the hoods, and I blended it into the 350Z. I made my own custom 350Z hood, did all the body work and everything, and we'll do an update video on that later. Okay, so now we got that. We'll get that, move that, put the lid back on. Now I'm going to clip the wires. Alright, got that. And then we'll start folding the wires. Remember, guys, always preach test fit, test fit, test fit. Then we know we're going to have throttle return spring, throttle cable over here. So and just by doing this, I'll know the roundabout where I need to run fuel lines and my other lines like that. I ain't got no tweezers out yet. Adam, I've been watching Dan progress pictures on that 1/20th scale Fiat 131. Man, I really like that build. I had the Essex, the Revell Essex version of that, and when I got it, man, I paid like $78 for it. Well, $50, but then shipping was a beast on it. And it got here, and it didn't, and it was one of those that didn't have none of the glass. It didn't have the hood. But it wasn't the 1/20th scale. It was the 24th scale. But yeah, that's a beast of a build. I don't know if you guys can hear that on camera, but my pop is going crazy. Adam and you other builders that are following me today, the reason why I always do this first is one is most of the time that we detail a model, Revell, AMT, Tamiya, sometimes they don't give us, they don't, as they're designing the model kits, they're not taking in consideration space and stuff for us to do the detailing and everything. So by doing this, before you get everything into paint, is your distributor mounted too high? Um, is your wires going to catch something as you're getting it mounted into the engine bay? Is it going to catch, um, say, your brake booster, water bottles? Some people's wiring is loose detail, and you can see how I'm tightening mine up. But some people, they don't tighten it up like that. Um, they'll just be loose, and of course I'll build all the restraints. And by doing it, okay, yeah, by doing it this way, Adam, you know how to bend, which way to bend your radiator hose. You'll know where. Um, by doing all this, once I'll drill this out here in a minute and run my fuel lines, and then you got your throttle linkage. Um, Newer cars, they don't have that as much, but on some of these older cars, you're going to know where all your throttle linkage is and everything prior to having all this built, and then trying to put it together and be like, well, it's not working. See, that's one thing, that's an issue that we're going to have with this being, I did that wrong. See, right here I can notice now that I have to tighten the spark plugs up better because that wire catches on the firewall as it's coming in. There it all goes. Too far back, see? Like there's just a heads up on the detail, so you'll see where the motor's going. Then, like I said, I can't do everything on camera. What I'll do now is, you see me do all the prep on here. I'll paint this and let it dry, so that way when we come back, we'll be able to have something to build on, you know what I mean? And we'll do that. There's the fan belt, there's the fan. So we'll need an alternator, and then we'll wire up the alternator. It looks like the battery goes. Looks like they want the battery mount right there. So do we even have battery? Oh. I don't know where the battery actually is. Here's the radiator. Here's the battery. Alright. So we'll have to get the detailings going on the battery. So I guess this episode we got to do the motor. The next episode we'll continue on with the engine bay. We'll get the engine bay set up. So what's cool about the Mobius stuff is they got a lot of different indicators. You can see the small point here, the large point in the back. So that way when you go to the cab, you know where to put it, because they have a small, large, so you know which way it points. Got to get it in there, though. There it goes. Alright. So that's where the battery will be. So now we'll have to get the wires ran here. Like I would prefer the post to be back on that side. So I might maneuver this battery around, because I don't like the post being that close up front. I think the post should be back there. To me, I'd have it like this. I'd have it that way. And that's just me though. So this right here would be an easy fix. If you're more, everything else is already custom. We'll just get rid of that. Clean up my work. And I'm going to have the battery cables that way. To me, I like that better. With that battery setting like that. That way we can run all the wires back there. We ain't got to worry about it interfering with the way the hood shuts or nothing right here. And then we could do our battery tie downs. The photo etch, if you guys don't know, I use Detail Masters. This right here is a brand new set. But I usually use the Detail Masters battery hiring kit, and it'll have the battery terminals, and then right here is all your hold downs, and then that's your hold down bar to do that. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up for the day. Off camera, I'm going to drill the holes to detail the carburetor, and I'll probably paint the whole motor up, and that way when we return next time, we can build the motor and get it all detailed. If you guys think that's cool, I'll do that. If you guys want me to wait until next time, because I still got to drill the holes for the heater hoses. You can see the two, it already has the two things drilled out right here. So you need an inlet and an outlet into the heater core. So I'm going to drill a hole right here, then a hole right here, one off the block and one off the water pump, because the water pump cools it through the radiator, and then it pulls the hot air out from the block. The hot water from the block goes through the heater core, and then it returns and comes back to the water pump to cool down through the radiator, and that's how you get your heat circulation in these old cars. So we get to do all that. And still a lot of test fitting and stuff to do. Appreciate you guys following along. I'm glad I went with the original block and transmission. And we'll just save those other two motors for another project down the road. I want to thank all you guys that came in and joined me today for the last hour and a half. Really appreciate it. I know I'm unorthodox as all get out. But I enjoy you guys. I enjoy the conversations, and I'm still learning just like you guys are, just to make it look different. I'm gonna try to, what do I do with the bed? Put that bed back on. And that's where I'm gonna leave you kind people today. Right there, we worked on the motor. We got the motor in. I should say we got the motor designed. We'll do some more work on the motor next time. And we'll go from there. This is Minnie. Again, guys, thanks for joining me on this Thursday. Oh, God, that stuck up on me. Appreciate all the time you guys have spent with me. The conversations back and forth, and we'll check you guys later.